Okay, according to the little robot voice there, recording is in progress. So, welcome everyone to the Dirty Balls podcast episode Who Cares? Because we have completely lost track of the numbers, and trying to do that in Roman numerals is even harder. So, we're not going to give them numbers anymore. This is the Dirty Balls podcast episode Figure It Out. And I am your host, Ethan Benfield. I'm here with Jeremy and Alan and Jennifer. And
so if we're not doing
what?
So if we're not doing numbers no more, what episode do we get to hear your special story that you were going to tell for when we hit that special number?
I could do it on this episode if we have time at the end. If not, I'll do it next week. So either at the end of this week or next week, depending on how long we've gone.
We'll do a Patreon.
Yes.
Yeah.
That. We get maybe 10 or 12 views on our free podcast. Might as well start something for money and get nothing. I have a game for us to play to break the ice here.
Whoopee.
And it is the classic 1-star review game. That's where you guys are supposed to feign some excitement.
Woo! Yay.
All right. There we go. So
Let me get my cowbell. I'll ring it.
to give you guys a hint, this is a ballpark that y'all have been to and I have not. That narrows it down to only a few. So, and if you know it already, don't blurt it out. Okay, this comes from Dana Spector. She's a local guide with 48 reviews and 21 photos. And her review is suchly: overpriced tickets and food. Unsafe food. I found a dead beetle in my white paper bag below the bag of peanuts. Rude fans. All of these have like semicolons, like they're supposed to be like categories. So
It's the Crawdads, isn't it?
no. Rude, I said I've not been there. Rude fans. Someone knocked over my 95% full, and she's getting into fractions now. She's angry. Peanuts, leaving me with about 40%. Unsafe. Don't you hate it when you only got 40% of your nuts? Unsafe. No one checked my bag upon entry or confirmed if I even had a ticket. Waste of money. Overpriced food with bug. She's recycling material already. And no need for ticket to watch that game in person. Although and this is how you know it's recent or in the last 2 years. Although the county is under a mask mandate, no one, volunteer, employee, fan, wore a mask. That's everywhere. Nobody did that. Forced paid parking. I could continue. Thankfully, she didn't. And it comes with some pictures, but if I showed you the pictures, it would you would know what ballpark it was. Here's the so-called bug in the that's not going to focus. Look at that tiny. That's the bug that she's speaking of. That's not even the size of a pin. Anyway, what ballpark am I speaking of here?
Is it in North Carolina?
Yes, it's a North Carolina ballpark. I have not been. You guys, Alan and Jennifer, I know you have. Jeremy, I don't know.
I don't know where all you haven't been. Mudcats.
Jennifer got it on the first try. It's the Carolina Mudcats 5-county stadium in Zebulon, North Carolina.
Yeah, that stadium sucks.
And I know that you guys have had bad things to say about it before, so I figured you would agree with Miss Spector here.
Yeah, I've been there. Matter of fact, I was there with Alan and Jennifer. I didn't have any bad experience with the staff or anything like that. It's just the stadium itself, the building itself sucks.
Is it like old and run down, or because we've been to some of those that have actually turned out to be really cool, like Burlington?
Well, no, if you get tickets on the front row, if
you don't need them before you hurt.
Well, if they foul the ball away, all you see is the concrete above your head, and you're sitting on the front row.
Well, I apologize that you guys didn't get to have a guest, because Jennifer, who usually doesn't get anything right, I mean, remember the whole thing about a home run in a dome? She got it on the first try, but that's okay because I have something to negatively review too. I want to talk about the Charlotte Observer, and I want to talk about Steve Little, a sports writer for the Charlotte Observer. Would y'all let me rant about this for a few moments?
For the people who don't
It
know,
doesn't matter if you want to let me rant about it for a few moments because I'm going to do it anyway. So this jabroni decided that he was going to write a story about minor league baseball in the Carolinas. Front page of the Charlotte Observer, not front page of the sports section. Full stop, front page of the Charlotte Observer. Root, root, root. From Asheville to Kinston, we have your guide for minor league baseball in the Carolinas. So I open it up and I start reading because I'm curious. And for the most part, this guy got most of his stuff correct. But then he gets to LP Franz Stadium. And apparently he has either not been to this ballpark since 2014 or has never been to it at all. Really can't tell.
He's been working on this story for 10 years.
Yes, he has. So here we go. Front page, root, root, root. From Asheville to Charlotte to Kinston, you can find your minor league home team throughout North Carolina. That's on the front page of the Charlotte Observer, a supposedly major newspaper in the United States. I remember from one of my journalism classes that it's in the top 10 as far as circulation and the amount of people that read it. So a lot of people are getting this messed up story here. We get to LP Franz Stadium, and he talks about how it is a old school ballpark that lacks the more modern amenities of the newer ballparks. And yeah, that's kind of true. But he says LP Franz Stadium has a mixture of fixed seats and bleachers. Yeah, we did like 10 years ago. It used to be the bottom seats were box seats, and they were like that faded red orange color, like you can see on the red seat. And then the top was like a blue that kind of faded into green. And then to the side on the baselines were bleachers. Those bleachers were replaced with more box seats, and in the case of the first baseline, picnic areas. So this guy does all this. It's supposed to be giving us information about these ballparks, and he gives this clearly outdated information about the Crawdads, showing that he hasn't been to this ballpark in several years, and also showing that he didn't do his research. Because all you have to do is look at a picture of LP Franz Stadium from within the last 5 to 10 years, and you can clearly see that that is not the case anymore, that those bleachers are no longer there, and they've been replaced with regular seats and picnic decks. So I don't know which is worse. The fact that it's either one of two things. Either one, he's never been to LP Franz Stadium, and he's basing this off of research that is very outdated. Or two, he has been to LP Franz Stadium, and he's writing this from memory without checking anything based off of an experience that he had in, say, 2010. I don't know which one of those is worse, but don't worry, because the story itself definitely gets worse. Scroll down a little bit, and I sent this in the group chat, but I'm not going to play the video. I'm just going to look at it here. Let me pause it so I can read it. Okay, with both, it comes without the flares. For the prices, okay, there we go. Tickets are a bargain in Hickory. For most games, you'll pay $9, parentheses, outfield, and $15, parentheses, box seats close to home plate. Okay, this is the part that really confuses me, because now I don't even know if he has, I said this one of two things. Either he's never been to LP Franz Stadium, or he's been and looked up something from a long time ago, or he's been to LP Franz Stadium and is misremembering. Either way, whichever one it is, we've never had outfield seats in 30 seasons. Never, not a one. Jeremy, you were there in 1993. Were there outfield seats?
No.
No, there were not. And I've been going to Crawdad games probably since early 2000s, maybe 02, 03. I never saw.
There's not even concrete in the outfield for the seats.
It's trees and the road and signs. How can there's 40 feet of advertisements behind the outfield? There's no room for seats there. So maybe, and I thought, maybe it's semantics. Maybe by outfield seats, he means like seats that are past the base going out into the outfield along the
Down the
baseline.
baseline.
But we don't have that either. Because on the third base side, the seats end right after third base. And on the first base side, there's picnic decks all along that area. And those aren't really a ticket. Those are you just go over there for whatever ticket you have. And the price is incorrect too. There is not every single ticket in that entire ballpark, top to bottom, left to right, is $9 online and $10 at the gate. So not only does this guy not know what he's talking about, I don't know where he got these numbers from. It's not on our website because our website clearly says $9 online, $10 at the gate. And there has never in the 30 years of Crawdads baseball been outfield seats in either way he meant it. That's not all either.
Haven't been outfield seats.
The concession stands follow that theme, talking about old school theming. The concession stands follow that theme, selling popcorn, yes, hot dogs, yes, burgers, yes, and the like. Ooh, this guy went to writing school. He says the like. Okay. Okay, here we go. And this is the last thing that I got mad at. But a more upscale option, and the wording here is really a trip. A more upscale option is Crawdads Cafe, where you can buy sausage sandwiches and more.
I don't even know what those are.
Now, maybe by sausage sandwich, he means bratwurst or Italian sausage, which we have had before, but not in the cafe. Maybe by sausage sandwich, he's thinking like, you go to Bojangles and you get a sausage patty on a biscuit, but like on a bun instead. Either way, that is also incorrect. Mr. Steve Little, where are you getting any of this from? Is the LP France Stadium that you go to in some different dimension where everything else is right? It says South Atlantic League, High A, Texas Rangers, 60 miles from Charlotte. You got everything else wrong. Where are you getting this?
He's from a different timeline.
Did you get tired and let your grandson write that part? I don't know. I am quite finished.
And you emailed him this, right?
Not yet. I'm going to do that sometime tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm going to email him.
Or just send him a copy of this and save you.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I looked him up on Twitter and I thought this was like some baby face 24 straight out of college. No, this guy's got grandkids. I don't know how old he is, but he's not a young guy that can be making mistakes like this in a major newspaper that's one of the top 10 in the United States.
But going back to the tickets, they were different price tickets back when I first started going.
They were.
When was that, Alan?
15, 16, something like that. When Joey was there.
I think it's 2004, 2013.
Was there in 2013, which at this point is 9 years ago.
And then I think it was the next year that they started making the renovations. Whenever we had
it was that off season.
2014 was when all the renovations were.
Yep. They dug up the concourse, put down all new concrete there. They took out all the old seats and brought in all the green ones and changed the price. At that time, it was $9, whether you bought it online or if you showed up at the gate. The dollar now is a fairly recent addition, but.
Oh, and another thing in here, it says Conrad the Crawdad is among baseball's most unusual mascots.
In the fact that he doesn't go to games?
I guess. I mean, I didn't know what he meant by in the fact that that a manager totally did not be Conrad once. Maybe he was there in that game. But if he was there in that game, that wouldn't excuse the rest of it. So anyway, next time you're out at LP France Stadium in your outfield seat enjoying a sausage sandwich, come say hey to us.
Yeah.
Something that we need is a sausage sandwich, something different.
Yeah,
actually, that sounds kind of good.
Yeah, we do need a sausage sandwich. So maybe Steve Little can come and work for the concession stand or the Crawdads Cafe and and let them know about these sausage sandwiches that he apparently had one time.
It's somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, and don't forget, and he can take that sausage sandwich and he can eat it on one of our many bleachers.
Or in the outfield seats.
And yeah, the outfield bleacher seats. They're quite new. This guy was ahead of his time.
Yeah, they must be on top of the Pepsi plant.
Mm-hmm. And then this article, before we got to all that, one of the first lines was, most fans cannot name a single player on their team, but are still excited for the start of the minor league season or something like that. And I was like, I want to be like, speak for yourself, Little. We got some fans around here. I don't know. This guy, clearly, I don't know. He had like, it was like 11:30 and he was like, oh shit, I got that minor league story due at midnight. And then and said, okay, all right, Kinston, boom. Okay, yeah, Asheville, bang, Charlotte, Hickory. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, sure, whatever. That's probably how that guy was doing it that night.
Was there any other
Sounds right.
stadiums that he told that you know of that he screwed up as bad as he did here in Hickory?
No, because I looked at all the stadiums that we regularly go to, Asheville, Kinston, Greenville, those ones. And all that stuff was pretty accurate. Although you could say you could get frozen margaritas at Mother's Pavilion in Kinston, which I've never seen, but maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place.
And see, that's where I think he would, if he was going to mess up, Kinston would be the major screw up because of them, reopening just a couple years ago. So
yeah, that's true. So another ballpark in North Carolina is in Winston-Salem, and you all were there this weekend. Talk about that while I cool down from that rant I just went on.
They have gone backwards. Last year, they had kind of eased up on a lot of their BS, towards fans. But this year, they're back to their old ways. They say on their website that, no noisemakers are allowed. You can't bring your cowbells. And then we get there.
According to Lee, the Winston fans had cowbells, even though it said that
they did. They were all over the stadium. I mean,
and they're sold in the team store.
Yeah. I know they were last year. I didn't go in there this year because I have a hard time getting around. But yeah, they were sold in the team store.
We talked so highly of them, how they turned over a new leaf and were so much better than they were previously.
Oh, and when we with parking, now you have to download an app to park, and they will not take cash when you go to park. And if you haven't prepaid, you have to park at the hotel across the interstate.
Across the interstate?
The crack house.
Yeah.
Is there a bridge at least?
Yeah, there's a bridge. But
Frogger.
To park where we've been parking, where everybody else has been parking for all these years, you have to prepay parking.
Where do you go to prepay? Do you know?
You have to go on the app, and I don't know the name of the app because I'm not going to let them dictate what apps I have to download on my phone at a stadium that I hate anyway.
Yeah. Hey, that reminds me, quick aside here. I'm in a ranting mood. Martinsville, if you're going to tell people that every ticket has to be online, invest in some proper internet so that way when we get up there, it doesn't take 30 minutes to get into the play. Like if you're going to make all tickets online, have some online when we get there. I know you guys are in the middle of nowhere, but still, you're a NASCAR track. You can afford good Wi-Fi. Anyway, back to baseball.
Speaking of Wi-Fi, I am happy to see the Crawdads now have public Wi-Fi available.
Really?
Yes.
So now people can look up who the hell they're watching when they come there to watch Christian concerts.
Yep. And hear their one hit on Christian radio that's
Maybe that's
Anyway,
maybe Steve Little was there on a Christian concert night and was getting all his information from one of the people that were there. That's his correspondent was Karen from whatever Baptist to Hickory.
But yeah,
from the second
Winston-Salem,
First Baptist.
On the
What?
frontage road.
Yeah.
on 34th, 17th, Southwest, next to the corner street.
Yeah.
But yeah, Winston-Salem, we went. I had a friend of mine that I used to work with. It was the first time they ever been. For one, I mean, they can't help this. It was cold. And I've
Yeah.
never been to a ballpark that it was so flipping windy. So, and being opening night, there was, a good many number of people there. And
In the first
my
game.
friend, yeah. My friend, they're a little older, which I mean, I'm not being ageist or whatever, but they didn't know the ins and outs and everything. So they were trying to be cautious. And I bought 3 seats on the lawn because, we don't sit. And when I looked at the map to buy tickets, behind the dugout was completely sold out. So I went ahead and got the cheap seats, but then they were giving veterans tickets. You could just go online, say, hey, I'm a vet, how many seats I wanted, and then they gave me 3 seats in 109 behind the dugout on the home side. And I told them, you guys can have the seats. We'll sit in the grass, whatever. But then when we get there, all the seats behind the visiting dugout were open. So we sat back there for an inning and we got up because it started drizzling and we didn't want to make that long walk because it looked like on the radar that it was going to rain for a while.
There's nothing on the radar. Said the
So we
same
went ahead
thing
and-
on the way to the race and it snowed.
Yeah, so we left in I think the second or third inning because like I said, it was just cold and didn't want to get wet. So, but yeah, I was very pissed off about not having cowbells. And then all of a sudden I hear them in the back behind me. So it's just, and didn't you say something, Ethan, that they're under another general manager?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, this is everything I'm hearing is according to Lee, so take it with a pinch of salt. But apparently, there's a new manager again, their third manager in 3 seasons, I'm pretty sure. And every single thing so basically everything that went from bad to good has now completely been erased because the new manager went back on it. I also heard that Luis Angel Acuna got hurt.
Yes, he did. In his first at bat, went down the line to first, looked to me like he stepped on the base wrong.
Aren't the bases slightly bigger this year? That was a rule.
Yeah.
And actually,
Yeah,
the first game was technically last week against LR. And who won that game?
LR.
You damn right we
Man.
did.
Man, that team is no joke.
I mean, I would have been happy either way. It's the first game where I went, and I was just like, whatever happened, it was cool.
Yeah, LR's no joke, man. They've only lost, 7? Not even 7 games
Not
this
even.
year?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Yeah, and now they've beaten a professional team.
Mm-hmm. Smacked
and it's not like
the dog out of UVAYs on Friday. I left in the 5th inning. It was 10-0.
Wow. And, it's not like the Crawdads made a lot of mistakes that day either. I mean, the LR genuinely beat them.
Oh, and Saturday night, LR women's softball had now listen to this. You'd never think you'd hear this combination of words. Walk-off, inside the park, grand slam.
I would like to have seen that.
Card.
Think about the
Yeah.
defense on that other team. I wasn't there, but think about the defense on that other team for a second. Walk off inside the park, grand slam.
I think they traded them all out for a little league team for 1 inning.
Yeah, I can't even I can't imagine how that happened. But back to Winston-Salem, Did anybody, and I'm always interested in this because it's a huge part of the baseball experience.
Oh, we
sausage
didn't
sand-
get any food.
There you go. I was going to say, so how are the sausage sandwiches?
Well,
No food at all.
Donna got some chicken tenders. Sorry, Donna got chicken tenders. Amy got chicken tenders for Ethan, and they all said the chicken tenders were really good.
I remember them being.
He
good,
got
yeah.
one of the pretzels, the fresh made pretzels, and I had about a quarter of it, and it was delicious.
That's what Alan's buddies had. They had a salted one and a cinnamon sugar one, and they said they were really good.
Yeah, because they don't make them till you order it. So I mean, it's fresh and
Yeah,
delicious.
even back in the days that we were shitting on Winston for everything, one thing that they were good even then was food.
And their pizza. I mean, granted, it's Domino's, but I mean, they make it right there. It's not like at Hickory where the Domino's down, across town brings them over and they put them in the heater. At Winston, they have a Domino's in the stadium, and they bake the pizza right there.
Was there a fireworks show on Friday night?
There was. It wasn't. I mean, it was just, yeah.
You go to as many baseball games as we've been to, you get used to fireworks shows, and they have to be like really special to stand out, like that one in Durham that probably woke up every dog from there to Asheville.
That and the one in Durham. I mean, I'm going to say this. It's going to sound kind of weird because normally it's the boring stuff that seems to stretch time out. The fireworks show in Durham wasn't but about 5 minutes long, but it seemed like it was a good half hour of just amazing fireworks.
It was the first time since I was a toddler that I was legitimately scared by fireworks because we were sitting in the outfield seats that Durham does have, and they were shooting the fireworks off from left field, and they were like, it felt like they were this close to our face, and like there were like 15 of them going off at the same time, sounding like explosions. It was the loudest. It was the loudest thing I've ever experienced, and I've sat front row at races with cars going 200 miles an hour past me. So, like that fireworks show was just insane in Durham.
It was, but yeah.
Oh wait, no, Jeremy, you had something else.
Huh?
Did you have something else? I was gonna move on to the next thing, but
I was gonna say, back to Winston. In years past, it was if you put something on the dugout, they'd call down there and have somebody go tell you to move it. But last year, it was, they still would tell people to move it, but it seemed like it was only if they just happened to be down there. This year, I saw several people set stuff on the dugout. Within about 30 seconds, there was somebody down there on them telling them to move it. Yeah, I mean, it was back to the old BS. The hyphens.
Yep, back to the Winston of 2018 and 19 that we swore off ever going to again.
Oh yeah, I'm done with them. Unless we meet them in the playoffs, and even then, maybe only if it's an elimination game. I won't go back.
Winston, we didn't like you, and then you made it better. And it sounds like you. And I wasn't at these games. I haven't been to Winston this year. I'm gonna have to go to myself before I pass any judgment. But it sounds to me like they're back on their old shit. Anybody else have any final thoughts on Winston before we move on to a much, much better ballpark?
They did have a new cider there. It's called Southern Apple. Yeah, it was pretty good.
You remember from who it was? Like what brewery?
I don't remember. I did take a picture of it. I'll send it to you. But
it was like because Foothills is big in that area.
It was like a candy-ish Bold Rock. It was pretty good. It's back there behind where the beer bar is.
Okay, well now I definitely have to go to Winston-Salem because I want to try that. So I said
one last thing about Winston-Salem.
Mm-hmm.
We won the series.
Yes, we did. Alan.
But anyway,
I saw on social media. I didn't even know you guys were going, but then I saw it. You went to a much, 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 much better ballpark than Winston-Salem over the weekend. I think it was on Sunday. Tell us about your experience in Greenville.
Yeah, we went to see the drive. We drove down there and got some lunch, and we went to Max's Speed Shop. It's like literally across the road from the stadium. We walk in and we saw two homely looking guys, and a lady with them, and it just so happened to be Jeremy and Scott. So and Donna, but Jeremy said something about he might be down there. We wasn't sure, but we went down because
I didn't even know. I didn't even know y'all went. All I saw was your post on Instagram. Didn't even know the rest of you guys were there.
Well, we went down, and I mean, we hardly ever go to a stadium that there's two teams that we don't give two craps about. It's either the Crawdads, or we don't go. But we went because they were giving away on the third day of the season a bobblehead
of a current player.
Of a current, it could have been a previous, but it's an actual current player, that's with that team.
That's rare.
And they call him Big Joe Davis. But here in Hickory, he is known as Sloppy Joe Davis. And there's the bobblehead.
Is he making a sausage sandwich? What is that?
He is actually cooking some sausage.
Send one of those to Steve Little.
Big Joe actually makes his own sausage. And the whole camper here, I think he's kind of like our old manager who sleeps in a camper outside the stadium.
He lives in that RV.
Okay. I like that.
But yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So we went down there just for the bobblehead. The whole family went. So Cooper went.
Cooper never goes to baseball games. So that's
exactly.
Another rare event. That's like a supercharged creeper or whatever. He'll get that reference.
And we actually set up on the Green Monster this time. I've always wanted to do it, so I figured it'd be great. And disclaimer right here, listen to what I'm saying, which I know nobody's watching at this point in the show. It is summertime. The sun is shining. You've been cooped up. You've got cabin fever. The sun is out, and the sun's going to burn you. You're going to get a sunburn.
Yeah,
if you don't put sunscreen on.
True.
Just ask Cooper and myself. We were sitting on there, and the sun's right here.
You guys got pretty red.
I got sunburned. Yeah, Cooper, he's got if you've ever seen the bench warmer and the kid that stays in the house because of the sun, that's Cooper. So, but yeah, he's as red as Joe's hat. But it was a pretty good game. We went and got the ice cream, of course. But what was really cool when we left right after this, you got a Joe Davis bobblehead. What does Joe Davis do at second time at bat? Kills it, knocks a home run. So that was pretty cool.
Who was playing against the drive?
Hill Valley or Hudson Valley?
Lehigh. Yeah, Hudson Valley.
I've never even heard of that.
They're the Yankees affiliate.
So we got to see the Red Sox and Yankees game.
Okay.
So
I saw I stumbled across Cubs White Sox once when I went to Tennessee when they were playing against Birmingham.
But nothing bad to say about Greenville as usual. Super nice people that work there.
As low as we are on Winston, it's as high as we are then some on Greenville.
Yeah. I mean, that's behind Asheville. That's my second favorite stadium. But the staff, I got to say, I've not been to another stadium where the staff is as friendly as Greenville, and that includes Hickory. I mean, that's not to bash Hickory. I mean, you all know I can really bash Hickory, but
yeah, we'll release that. Hey, that's our Patreon, the unaired episode where we talk shit for 45 minutes.
But yeah, the staff there is great. The food there is great. I mean, their giveaways are really good.
It's a three-way tie for me with it's one A and one B, if with Greenville, Asheville, and oh goodness,
Smokies.
no, I just lost it. Alan, you know, help me, fill me in here.
Durham,
No, not Durham. Oh, it's in Texas.
Frisco.
Frisco. I don't know why I just blanked on the name Frisco. I was trying so hard to say Round Rock, but I knew it wasn't Round Rock. It had to be Frisco. You have the delicious Italian sausage with the peppers and the
Here we go.
onions, and you had the water thing in the outfield, and the other thing that I don't talk about anymore. It was a great, beautiful ballpark with some beautiful staff, and
Always going to be number one for me. For now.
fantastic. You guys got it. We got a tour of it. Beautiful fireworks show where you got to actually sit in the outfield, which I know other parks do that, but I don't know. There was just something special. It felt like there was something like, I don't know, romantic and special, and just like you were stepping into a different universe when you went to Dr. Pepper Ballpark in Frisco, Texas. And shout out Wild.
I got to make it out there.
I'm telling you right now, I'm saving money up. We're going back next year. I think it's going to be an every other year thing for us because I want to see Avery, and I'm calling it. I called it opening day. Bubba Thompson is going to get the call after the All-Star break this year. He's going to make it to the majors, and I want to be there the next year to see him play at Arlington. I think it's going to happen.
You know that quote in the movie Moneyball?
At least he's going to get a feel for it.
Yeah. The quote in the movie Moneyball, I'm not sure if it's in the book because I'm only halfway through reading the book, which I bought the other day, and it's pretty good. But in the movie, he goes where he says, "It's hard not to be romantic about baseball." When I heard that, I was like, "It's so corny. What do you mean hard to be romantic about it? It's just a game. It's so silly." Well, when I went to Frisco, that's when I was like, "Okay, now I get it. That's how special that ballpark is."
So yeah, start saving up. I mean, if you can afford $40 every 2 weeks, it'll add up in a year, and we'll make it happen again.
Final thoughts from you, Bill?
Great as always.
Okay. Well, I don't know if we have some technical difficulties or something because you guys keep freezing on me a little bit, but I think we're all here. The next thing I have on my list of things to talk about is something that I didn't even know existed until the other day because I did not watch any spring training games at all. First baseball I watched all year was professional wise was opening day the other night, the Rangers and the Blue Jays. And in this game, they were testing out something new, or I guess they tested it out in spring training and they're using it now that I didn't know about, that I am really interested in hearing y'all's opinions on. It's called PitchCom. You guys heard about PitchCom?
No.
Okay. So if you haven't watched a major league game through all 9 innings this year, you might not have heard about it because it's an optional thing that not every team is doing. Some teams that are like really like forward thinking, analytical style teams like the Rangers and like Tampa Bay, they've been doing it. Basically, it's for 2 things. It's one, and I'll explain what it is in a second. It's another pace of play thing, but it's one that I actually like. And it's to try to cut down on sign stealing. So basically what it is the pitcher has a little earpiece in, and up to 3 other position players or up to 5 other position players, something like that, can have it in.
3.
And the catcher, I think it is 3. And the catcher has a little device on his wrist, and he can like punch this in, whatever, and then it goes slider inside or do fastball high or whatever. And it's to try to speed the game up and cut down on sign stealing. And I like it.
I like it too. And then talking about that, does LR use something like that? Because I noticed the catcher had an earpiece in.
I don't know. I haven't. I'll ask about that if I see some of the. I only know like 3 guys on that whole team. So when I see one of them, I'll ask. Jeremy,
I noticed
you looked apprehensive there for a minute. What do you think?
Well, I don't know if I like it or not. I mean, I'll reserve judgment until I see it.
Sign stealing
Learn more about
is
it.
the shitty thing that I don't like. So if it helps
Do what?
the game up, which I don't know if it does because the Rangers just finished a 4-hour game, then if it does help speed the game up in a way that isn't contrived and forced, and it cuts down on sign stealing, which is cheating, then I'd be for it. But it's some janky ass new technology because I've seen them have to go out there and fix it like 3 or 4 times already.
I mean, I don't think I would dislike it. I just don't know if I would like it for that reason. And plus, sometimes the pitcher and the catcher are, on the same wavelength, and somebody else send it in calling for the pitch. I don't know. That
No,
might mess with
it's
that.
still the catcher. The catcher's still calling the pitch. He's just not, giving the signs. So somebody in the outfield. But yeah, he's the one doing. He's got like a wristband, and he's just typing it in on his wrist, and it's going to the pitcher's ear.
And if the pitcher disagrees, then
But
he's
I mean,
got some way to tell him that too. I can't remember how, but it's something.
I mean, I'm sure he can just shake his head no. Is just as much.
Yeah.
But sign stealing in a way, I don't approve of it, but I approve of it. If you're on second base, trying to mess with the rhythm of the pitcher and the catcher, and giving your teammate. Now, if you got somebody bashing on a trash can, no, that's completely wrong. But if you've got a guy on second base trying to,
basically, if the human eye can see it, he can steal it.
But yeah, I mean, there's always going to be a flip side. Right.
Yeah. I heard somebody, and I can't remember who, he basically said, he agreed. He didn't agree with all the electronics and all the devices of, that are sometimes used to try to steal signs. Well, he said, what I approve of is if a human being can see the sign, it's perfectly legal to steal. In his opinion, it should be perfectly legal to steal, and only if that human being is between the lines.
Right.
That makes sense too. Jennifer, you've been quiet about this. What do you think?
Seems to me like it would make the game. It would be longer. Messing with something on your wrist and all.
Well, it's a pretty basic thing.
Especially people that hunt and peck.
Yeah, there's only so many things you put on there.
And I think sign stealing is just part of the game. So.
All right. Well, I mean, I think I don't like sign stealing, but that's an opinion that I can't disagree with. So we got some promotions that we want to talk about too, if there's nothing else that jumps right off of the mind. But before we do that, I want to give you guys a question here, a brain teaser. Float this out there, see what you think about it. So one of our promotions that's coming up sometime this year, or maybe even pretty soon, I don't know, is Backwards Night, right? We talked about last time. And on Backwards Night, we start in the 9th inning and we go down to the 1st inning. My question is, what do we put up on the board and what do we say if we go into extra innings? Does it start going back in the other direction towards 9? Or does it go backwards even still? And you get like, oh, it's the bottom of the 0th inning or the top of the -3rd. How do you guys think that would work? And I really hope it happens. And then the national anthem.
I hope they say negative first, negative innings.
Stop. So do we include 0 or do we not include 0?
No,
I'd say you don't include 0.
Okay. And then for the national anthem, if we're doing that at the end, then do we stop, sing the national anthem, and then continue with the game, sort of like a 7th inning stretch on a Sunday when they do God Bless America? Or do we wait until all the way at the end of the game? Because I love it. I'd love to see like the -8th inning that it just keeps going and going and going. That'd be fantastic. We could say we could have the major league record for the shortest game in history. We could have an 8-hour game and we can say that it never got started because it ended in the -12th.
it's going to be something to see. If like
Yeah.
we said last week,
And
if
then since there was no
they do
game,
it.
everyone gets their money back. We get paid.
They
to go
should
to the
pay
game. Why
us.
is that not part of it? Yes.
they should pay us to come to
Yes,
the
you
game.
want to really make it backwards night. You pay us, okay? You pay us and sell 12-year-olds beer. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But you
They already
our
sell
own
12-year-old
food
hot
in.
dogs.
We bring our own food and BYOB. So
okay. Yeah, pay us. Everybody gets $10. That'll be the first sellout of the year for sure.
But before we get to the promotions, let's go back to the bobblehead. I've been wanting to ask this too. I talked to Doug after the exhibition. You know, Hickory is not great at giving out bobbleheads because it's financially in the budget. But I think our
Budget,
last
yes.
player that's been in a Crawdad uniform was Andrew McCutcheon.
Wait. Hold up. What about it? Back up a second. What about Andrew McCutcheon?
I think he was the last bobblehead we had that was in a Crawdad uniform.
He played for the Crawdads in 2006.
Exactly. But I think he was the last bobblehead we had given out to us with the Crawdad uniform.
Oh my! Think
You
of
know,
all the
we've had-
players we've had since then. Nomar Mazzara, Joey Gallo.
That's what I'm getting at. You know, we've had Joey, we've got the Odors. You know, I call them hand-me-downs from Texas. You know,
Yeah, we had that.
and we've had
that Luke Roy after he'd been traded to the Angels.
yeah.
The-
I mean,
not the-
Literally
the
was
A's.
a hand-me-down from
A's.
Texas.
well, so was the Joey bobblehead they gave away last year was also the one they gave away in Texas.
Yep. And that was a horrible bobblehead.
They got a
Didn't even look like
deal. Well, Joey's bobbleheads never look like him.
I got the busted up high five one where the arms were broken.
The Crawdads and the Rangers kind of split the cost in the bobbleheads. So my question is, what player now or previous would you like to have a bobblehead of in the Crawdad uniform?
Okay. The hardcore fan in me wants to go for somebody obscure that hasn't been in Major League Baseball that kind of nobody really remembers, like, I don't know, Luke Tindler. But but I don't know. Huff, that'd be a cool one.
Yeah, Huff would be a good
Trevino,
one. Yeah.
Bubba.
I think mine, and
Corey Ragsdale.
I said Bubba. I would love
Yeah,
to have
Rags
a
would
Bubba
be a good
bobblehead.
one.
Bubba and
Well, if
Blaine.
it's Jennifer, you could just give him a bobblehead of any African American player ever, and she'll be like, "Doesn't that look like Bubba?"
Looks exactly like him.
Or any dark-skinned player with glasses in the history of organized
Hey!
baseball, and she'll be like, "Does that look like Bubba to me? I think that's Bubba."
I think obscure, I would go with Joe Jackson. Just
Doug Hogan, that's a throwback. I don't even remember that name.
Yeah, Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe's
I think-
nephew, great nephew.
yeah, great
Braves fan in me.
nephew.
Wants to say Nate McLeod because that's the guy that did make it to Major League Baseball and is super obscure.
Or what about Jim Abbott?
Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
You know, just
I got
Like I
his
said-
Crawdads card here somewhere.
oh, I don't think I've ever seen that.
I'll
Yeah,
show
I
it to
just all right. But yeah, just I would love to see that. Like I said, it's been so long since we've had one, and if we could do one, you know, of course, Bubba, Sam, they're going to be at the top of the list. But you know, I mean, hell, Brett Martin, just because you know he's a friend.
You know what?
Yeah,
If you talk about ones to do this year, with it being the 30th anniversary, why not do Maglio? He was on the inaugural Crawdads team.
right.
Okay,
I mean, it's
I
not going to happen this year. But yeah.
I
No.
have very, very fond memories specifically of the 2009 Crawdads season. So let me try to find anybody on that team that is recognizable.
That's the year he discovered girls.
No, that's the year that me and my dad
He
went
still
to Crawdads
hasn't.
games almost every single night because my mom was taking classes at school during the summer. So let me see if there's anybody or an obscure player that I'd like to see. Oh,
But while
Mark
you do
Hamburger.
that-
There we go. That's who I want. Mark Hamburger. That's the bobblehead.
And see, you could do something clever with that one because of Hamburger.
Yeah, I remember I kept asking them back then, like, you should, or telling, any of the staff that would listen, like, look, you have a guy on the team named Hamburger.
There's
Why
Eric
don't you
Fry
have a
on the
Mark
same
Hamburger
team.
at the concession stand?
Eric Fry was also on that 2009 team. You have Hamburger and Fry on the same team.
No way.
Yes.
Yep,
Doug,
sure did.
Doug, I know you watch this. I know Doug watches, or somebody tells Doug what we say because we get side-eyed every once in a while.
Hey, Doug
Make
Hogan,
that happen.
the guy I mentioned, Doug Hogan, he was on that 2009 team. I don't know. Pulled that out of my butt. I didn't remember that. Martin Perez. But yeah, you had Hamburger and Fry on the same team. Tell me that's not perfect.
Surely
speaking of-
McDonald's would sponsor that.
They would.
Well, speaking of burgers and fries and stuff like that, and totally somebody that, what about Seth Beer the other night on National Beer Day, walking it off?
Yeah.
That's super cool. But anyway, let's get to these promotions going. All right. Tomorrow, if you see this, you won't see this because we'll probably upload it at 5 o'clock tomorrow. The magnet schedule, games at 6 o'clock. So
Don't worry. I'm sure even if you see this after the game, you'll still be able to get one a few weeks later.
Yep.
they had them in Greenville.
We've already got a Llama
Yep.
game coming up this week that you guys won't be at, but I'll be at since I don't have anything to do on Wednesday.
So Wednesday's an education day, games at 11, which, by the way, our player will be the starting pitcher for the game. And do you want to talk about him right quick, Jennifer?
What do you want to talk about?
Who is he?
His name is John Matthews. He's from Hoxatawney. You know where the groundhog's from. And him and Lucas have the same birthday.
Seems pretty cool. Hopefully, maybe we'll get him on the show, on a Monday or something if we can. So, but yeah, he'll be the starting pitcher Wednesday. Thursday, the game's at 7. Thank goodness I can go to the gym. It's Texas Ranger night and Lineman Appreciation Day. But if you wear your Texas Rangers stuff,
Future
you get a
Yankees.
future Yankees, wear a Yankees hat and a Texas Ranger shirt. A $6 ticket. So Friday is the 15th. The game's at 7. It's Cartoon Rama and a poster schedule giveaway. It's also Army National Guard night. So some guys and gals are going to get sworn in to keep us safe. And it's fireworks after the game, of course. So that's a pretty big night, especially for Army. Saturday,
It's usually not
the
Army.
actual
They've done
double-
it a few times, but it's usually what, Navy? Air Force.
Yeah.
Well, there's a decent
Sure.
decent amount of quite a few of the branches.
Seems like Army gets crapped on more than the other ones, in my opinion.
They should be used to it. They get crapped on a lot.
But Saturday is a doubleheader. Game starting at 4 o'clock.
We
But
should tailgate for that. Started at about 11 o'clock, make some burgers.
we can plan it. I don't know if I got to work. Well, I
Sausage
shouldn't have to work
sandwiches.
since I'm off Friday. We're planning on it. Let's do this because I'm off Friday.
All right, we'll wait.
Everybody
We'll
will
make some-
come.
Oh, let's have a tailgate and let's invite our friend Steve Little to the tailgate and just make a bunch of sausage sandwiches for him.
Let's plan for it and not do it since it's backwards night. Let's
We'll have a
tailgate after the game.
game.
Yes.
We did
We're
it.
tailgating after the game.
We did it.
No.
That's too late for us old people.
But for reals. But it's backwards night. The first game, when you go in at 4, when gates open at 3, you get the replica jersey unless you paid more money to have you one saved for the giveaway. And it's also a reading program night, whatever that is for the kids in school. But the backwards night does not start. That's the second game of the doubleheader is when that one will start. And then Sunday is Easter.
I
Happy
cannot
Easter.
wait to have to explain that to people that don't know the promotions.
But yeah, Sunday, no game. Happy Easter to everybody. That's as much religious stuff you're going to get on here.
I'll be in Bristol.
Well, you have fun with that.
I will.
Anybody have any closing stuff?
It's going to be an interesting homestand coming up here. I mean, not just for the promotions, but we got Bowling Green coming into town.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
I
and from what I understand, their low A team last year was really good.
Wait, there was a team last year. I thought it was Bowling Green. Maybe I'm wrong because I guess it couldn't have been because they were in low A. But wasn't there? Oh wait, no, Bowling Green's in high A, right? Because they're playing us. Duh.
Yeah.
Wasn't they the ones that just beat the dog balls off of us like 15-2 or whatever, and like 3 nights in a row?
Yeah,
pretty much. That entire organization. I mean, everybody won the championship except for Montgomery. So you've got Charleston coming to Bowling Green. You know, they're the champs. And so here they are. They're going to see what's going to happen this week.
And I know it's early in the season. You know, we're only 3 games in, but they handled their business last week and they came out 3-0.
Wow. So hopefully next Monday, I would like to have, you know, something, a highlight and a low light for each of the games. So we can actually, instead of talking about us and what we think, we need to start telling about what's going on with these guys on the field. So people, if people would watch this, they would know, you know, this is what this show's about, is for the players on the field. So we need to start trying to talk about them more and letting them, you know, stats and all. I mean, I know we don't want to do the whole stat thing and just read off the thing, but give highlights of who's doing good and who could do better. I mean, I doubt we do the whole better thing, but, you know, give our stars of the games through the week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe name something we think the whole team could do better.
And I'm
instead of an individual player.
I'm still wanting to do our debate episodes. I already know one we can do the about the ball 4 chant, and we can just cut. We can make. I can
we
make
put that issue to rest.
No,
yeah, we did.
We haven't. I can make a list of things that we disagree about. Either 3-on-1, 2-on-2, whoever disagrees about a certain thing in baseball, and we can have debate episodes. Maybe it doesn't have to be all 4 of us. Maybe it can just be me debating Jeremy, or Jeremy and Alan debating Jennifer, or whoever has a different opinion. We can make special episodes that aren't like in line with the regular podcasts about that. Because I've had ideas, and we can talk off camera about these ideas. Not tonight though, because it's late and I got homework to do. About other ideas I have for the channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I want to make this the best show that nobody watches.
Yes, that's right. The best worst show in minor league baseball.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, this has been the best worst show in minor league baseball. I've been Ethan here with my co-host as usual, Alan and Jeremy and Jennifer. And once again, come out and see us at the game. Come out, sit in the bleachers, have a sausage sandwich, and say hey. We'll be sitting there probably enjoying a frosty beverage, and we're not hard to find. Either go find some chants or go find some cowbells, and you'll know where we are. Come hang out. I promise we're nice. We won't bite unless you ask. So
and maybe even then we won't bite.
Anybody else?
We are definitely putting that on our shirts. The best worst show nobody watches.
Yeah, I like that.
There we go. We've been wanting to come up with merch for a while.
Right here, so somebody can see it over the beard. But
yeah.
We got the logo on the back.
This luscious beard here. Okay, well, Or do like
Come-
the logo right there and then that on the back. But no, that seems a little like that seems a little too close to like a targeted Facebook shirt that your uncle buys. It says like kings are born in December or whatever.
We're
I don't
making
wanna-
it. We're making it just for you because you're gonna wear it.
We don't want to make one of those. You guys know how much I hate those. So anyway, that's been the Dirty Balls podcast this week. Thank you for watching. See ya.
Come see us.
We're still recording.
I know.
Still
I don't know what.
recording,
Yay!
Still recording. Hey, we're still recording.
Bye.